Noa Neve. Having grown up singing and dancing in a multicultural country like Israel, Noa was exposed to a variety of musical styles and dance disciplines that ultimately lent themselves to what is now her diverse and comprehensive talent range. Noa's move to New York City provided the opportunity to continue her training with some of the most talented performers in the business, including Gregory Hines, Savion Glover, Ann Rankin, and Ben Vereen, just to name a few. By the age of 17, she was performing in the Tony Award-winning musical Fosse. After Fosse, Noa was a featured performer in the Broadway smash Aida. She has had a deep fascination melding ancient melodies and ethnic instruments from various Mediterranean cultures. The percussive drums inherited in Moroccan music resonated with her the most and inspired her to begin a musical journey of mixing pop with Middle Eastern influences. With production teams in both New York and LA, Noa writes and sings in English, Hebrew, and Spanish. Mixing world pop rhythms with sultry melodies, she provides the ingredients for the exotic, multi-ethnic sound and visual experience. Upward and Onward presents our Meeting at the Crossroads Music Series. What's up, Noa Neve?
What's up? What's up?
Welcome to Upward and Onward presents our Meeting at the Crossroads Music Series. And folks, we have one of my oldest friends, one of my closest friends, Noa Neve. She's in LA right now, right? Yeah.
Yes, I am. Sunny LA.
In LA. How's LA? Is it hot?
It's super hot,
Yeah.
but I can't complain. We're lucky. We're grateful. We have an ocean. We have sun. We have palm trees. So not a bad place to be stuck or to be quarantined in. Can't complain.
Not at all. So, of course, I know you, and I know a lot about you and whatnot, but let's let the folks in on a little bit of the life of Noa Neve. Where are you originally from?
I'm originally from Israel. I was born and raised there, and I have Moroccan roots, which has a lot to do with what influences my music and what I do. And then I moved to New York when I was 12 years old because my father's a doctor, and we ended up moving here, and I wanted to be on Broadway, so everything kind of worked out because I ended up in New York. And then I moved to LA about 6 years ago. I didn't move right away. It was kind of like trial and error, and I would come out here for Grammy Week or whatever it was, just to network and work with different people in the industry. And eventually I just decided I wanted to come out to LA to try it out. Lived here for a year, moved back to New York because my family and friends were there. And I'm just a New York girl, I love it. And nothing will ever replace that city for me.
Yeah.
But I ended up moving out here, and now my family's out here. So here we are.
That's cool, like one big happy family. So you said you had you're born in Israel, but you had Moroccan roots. Now, who was from Morocco?
Both my grandparents are Moroccan.
Okay.
And the reason I say, very loud and proudly that I have Moroccan roots is because it's really part of my growing up and my upbringing. It's part of the food that I grew up eating, and the flavors and spices, and just the overall kind of vibe and feeling of me growing up. There was always Moroccan melodies and Moroccan music and the language. So I was very much influenced by that culture and the instruments and all the different things that are part of it. It's obviously a very rich culture, and I was always very proud to be from that place. So.
Beautiful place. I've been to Morocco several times. I have yet to go to Israel, and every time I was supposed to go on like a cruise ship trip or gig or something like that, it was always canceled. Do you pre-pandemic?
Oh,
Did you get back to Israel a lot?
every summer,
Every
and
summer.
whenever I could. Yes, my whole entire family's there, and it's my home. It's a place that I just feel, comfortable, and I love it. It's an amazing country. You have to go there.
I have to.
Everybody has to go there.
Yeah,
It's like a bucket list type of a trip.
it is. It is. It is.
It's a very special place, and you get pretty spoiled growing up in a place like that because it's full of history and culture and people from every, walk of life, colors, religion, and it's just when you grow up with that, you're just exposed to it all, and again, very lucky and proud to be from Israel and to represent my country and my people here is a big deal for me. So I always feel like I have this like weight on my shoulder, but I carry it very proudly.
That's good. That's good. That's good.
Do you remember I always used to be like, I'm from Israel? You all
All the
used to make
time.
fun of
All the
me.
time. We were like, yeah, we get it. We get it. We know.
We
Now, do
got
you
it,
feel more,
Noah.
you know, do you feel more at home in Israel or America, or it's about the same?
That's a good question. It's about the same. For a while, I felt like Israel is my home and I feel the most, um, you know, myself there. But the more I lived in America, I realized that I'm different. I'm foreign wherever I go.
Hmm.
So I don't necessarily belong to one place in the world. I kind of belong to a couple, or I could belong to a few. And I feel very global and like I belong to wherever it is that I am. I
I got
bring
you.
my energy and who I am with me, and I'm just I became at peace with always being a foreigner no matter where I am. I could live here my whole entire life and I still have this accent and I'm still
Yeah.
different. And the first thing people ask me is, "Where are you from?" Which I'm like, "Geez," and then I'm like, "Oh, I'm Israeli Moroccan." And they're like, "Yeah, but there's something else." I'm like, "New York?" They're like, "That's what it is." And I'm
He's like,
so proud
okay.
of that. I'm like, "Damn, I got a New York accent. Like, what's going on?" So it's funny, but you know how it is. You evolve, you kind of,
Of course.
um, a piece of everywhere we are stays within us. So I guess that's what happened along the ways. I'm a gypsy and a nomad,
A
and I
spirit
love the
of the
world.
world. No, that's great. That's so great. It's like a universal soul that you have within inside of yourself. People don't know I've actually known you since you were very, very young. Not to date myself, but I just knew you when you were starting off in a lot of this stuff, especially as far as like pre-professional and when you were approaching,
Yes.
starting to be professional, or people were trying to pull you out of high school to do certain shows. Now, when I first met you,
Right.
I knew you mainly as a dancer. When did the music bug hit you, or when did you start singing, or had you always been singing and you just started doing it later? Because I feel like I turned around one day and then all of a sudden it was like, yeah, Noah sings now. And I'm like, what?
Right. Well, this is very interesting, that journey, because around the time that you knew me, it was the first time I always sang. My mother is also, she has a beautiful voice and she's a singer and a dancer. And it was always around. We always sang, and I was always influenced by so many different things. And even as young as 14 years old, the show that kind of changed my life in a way was Janet Jackson's The Velvet Rope tour
Okay.
that I saw when I was 14, and literally like everything changed because I saw the dancers, and the dancers were a huge part of that show and that
Of
tour, and
course.
they were amazing. And I was so inspired by the dancers, but obviously more than all, it was Janet. And I was just like, oh my God, this is it. This is what I want to do. I want to hire all my friends to work with me and perform with me. And I saw that like amazing connection that she had with her dancers. And I already have that with my friends. So let me just do that and really get to express what I do.
Yeah.
So that dream started way back, and really the one that kind of opened me up to accept my voice and my sound and my tone was Anne Reinking.
Oh, wow.
Because I
Okay.
remember they auditioned me for Fosse, you know, the
Mm-hmm.
Broadway show, and I was terrified to sing.
Yeah.
Dancing always just came, boom, easy. I go, I do it. It's part of my being. It's part of what I do.
Yeah.
And singing was kind of like, I sing in Hebrew. I do these like ethnic melodies. Everybody thinks I'm weird. It's really foreign here. Let me just like stay in my corner and dance. That's how I
Uh-huh.
kind of, you know, looked at it. And I remember going up to Anne Reinking like with tears in my eyes and saying, I can't do this. My voice, I don't have a Broadway voice. I don't have this loud voice. And she said, well, I don't either.
Yeah.
And that's when it kind of hit me. And she goes, that's why we have microphones.
Yeah.
You know,
Microphones.
what you have to work on is your tone and your delivery and your storytelling,
Yeah.
you know, and that stuck with me loud and clear because we all know Anne Reinking is a dancer, but we know her as a, you know, multi-talented, she can
Of
do it
course.
all.
Noah is a phenomenal dancer. I mean, she's a beautiful dancer, exquisite. It's such a it's such a delight to get a chance to actually see her dance, and it's not just her technique and the way that she picks up the style, or like, just oozes whatever that particular spirit of that dance is. It's just her way. She has that it factor. And having that it factor in this industry, whether you be singer or dancer, it's the thing that's going to separate you from the rest. It's the thing that people are going to look at you and say, oh, she's a star.
Well, I think where it all started was with a man named Philip Hamilton, who is an incredible, incredible musician and human being. And we actually met because he was a percussionist of the dance class that I was assisting Anne Reinking in New York City. And something about those drums, you know, he was playing these like big African djembes, and I was just like, oh my God, it just something in my soul, the deepest place that I've never even felt before, like woke up. And I was just like, I grabbed him and I said, oh my God, like I have this idea. And, you know, and he says this story really funny, but he just says, he was like, what does she want? She's this little dancer. She's 17 years old. Like, leave me alone, get away. Like that, he did not care what I had to say. And I just kept at him and kept at him and kept at him. I have this idea. Please, like get together with me. And finally he said, fine. We got together in a black box theater in New York City. Mm-hmm. He had his like African djembe and I'm over there. And at the time, I didn't even play the cajon. I didn't play nothing, you know, no instrument. And it took a lot of courage for me to go up to one of the most talented musicians in New York City and say, here's my idea. And I was kind of banging up on his drum. And I said, you know, I have this idea to combine Middle Eastern music with pop or with mainstream music. But I want to do it in a way that hasn't been done before. You know, I want to use my voice as an instrument within the track and, you know, explain the whole thing. And he kind of looked at me and was like, okay. And from that point on, it was like school, right? It was music school.
Yeah.
Philip taught me everything, you know, how to write a song, how to, you know, just everything and anything I needed to know about live performance, about recording in the studio, everything. And one thing led to the other. I put it in my mind. I was doing Aida on Broadway at the time, and I came to the realization that here I am. I was 20 years old at the time, with 2 Broadway credits under my belt, and kind of went, this is amazing. And I could luckily keep doing it for the rest of my life if I wanted to stay on Broadway. But the problem with Broadway is that when one show closes, you go back to square one.
Yeah.
You know, you go back to that audition room, you going back. It doesn't matter how many Broadway credits you have. Sure, they might know you, but it's still square one.
Yeah.
And you have to try to get a job again at the next show.
Yeah, unless you're getting pulled out of one to go into the other, you start back over. Yeah. Yeah. Exactly.
And even being pulled and this and that, you might not be, you know, be the lead. You might be ensemble. You might be a swing. People don't talk about these things. They don't really know this information, right? Broadway is a small circuit, but it's still square one each time. I remember telling Philip, like, I really want to work on developing my sound and my voice. I don't want to be this like fake singer, or I need to find my own sound, you know? And it was just school. Whoever I worked with, whatever producers, I went from Philip to working with Full Force, who are legendary producers.
Of course, yeah.
You know, the famous Full Force from the House Party movies. And
Yeah.
at the time, it was actually, I'm really going into this because nobody really knows my stories, but Nicki Minaj and I were signed to them at the same time. And we would kind of have showcases together. So Nicki would go and then I would go, and you know, we were kind of like this team of like, oh yeah, like here we are, like we're gonna make it. We're the next generation of music. And it was great and fun, and you know how it is in music, things, you know, don't always end up in that way. And I kind of rolled from working with different people. You know, I worked with will.i.am, I worked with Randy Jackson, who mentored me, and I was signed to Akon for a while, and just worked, you know, really, Swiss Beats worked with a lot of different people in the industry in my quest of finding my sound. And part of the challenge was I was up against the biggest producers in the world and some of the biggest songwriters in the world. And I walked in feeling real confident and going, I have this idea to put Middle Eastern and mainstream and blah, 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 you know, and they would go, great, let me show you some stuff that I have, which I hated because it meant that it was some leftovers from a Rihanna, you know, camp, writing camp, or
they didn't feel like creating
Beyonce.
with you. They felt like getting rid of some of the stuff they already.
Let me just make it quick. She's under so-and-so, she's this, she's that. Let's just get a hit under her belt. And it was just like, no, that's not the way. Like, and I remember like, actually Paulo de Don said this to me, the producer. He said, I don't understand. You come to me, I'm Paulo de Don. When people come to me, they come from my sound, you know, and you're coming to me asking me to create a sound that's never been done. And I said, well, isn't that a challenge for you? Like, isn't that great? Like, hello, everybody already knows what it is you do. Bring that in and let's create our own thing and make something, like evolve, you know, bring who you are. That's amazing. That's why I'm here. But evolve. Let's do it together, you know, because if you think about it, every major artist's success is directly connected to a producer or a songwriter. You know, we have Quincy Jones and Michael, you know, we have Lady Gaga and Red One, and on and on and on. A million examples of these kinds of, you know, Amy Winehouse, Mark Ronson. Most of the time you find a partner and you kind of create that, right? That sound together. So I was really on a quest for that because I'm a producer in my mind, but not technically. You know, I come in and I like tell them what I want them to play or whatnot, or what I hear. But I kind of needed to find that person. And I just kept on working with different people. But I knew that the one variable that was always going to be true to my idea and to what I was trying to create and achieve was me. So no matter who I got in with, whether I ended up in that place or I went on to work with somebody else, I was just very adamant about, this is what I'm passionate about. This is the kind of sound. I don't want to make it. Don't give me a piano that's going to. No. It's been done before. I don't want that. Like, you know, I definitely feel like along my journey, I was very fortunate to find these couple producers and musicians that I really locked in with, and we created records that I'm very proud of, and again, that I'm able to perform live and say, this is me, this is who I am, or go into a meeting feeling confident about that. But there's also the politics of music, and you know, even if you have great records, you might go into a label and they know your records are great, but they'll be like, come work with our people. So, and you kind of have to be open to that. So the journey hasn't ended for me. I don't think even when you get to you achieve great success, it doesn't end. You keep evolving and growing and reinventing yourself and working with different people. And I'm very, very grateful for the people who believed in me along the way, whether it was good bad, beautiful, ugly. It's the
Yeah.
music industry. Let's be honest. There's all of that.
Always.
Um, but now looking back, some of the stuff that really devastated me and kind of shot my hope down is what now makes me actually have hope and make me believe, because along the way, all these people all um, knew I was talented and knew I had what it takes and
Hmm.
believed in me and were inspired by my kind of like fiery attitude of finding this sound, and they were inspired by it and they loved it.
Yeah.
And at the end of the day, that's what it's about. You know, I got these people, I worked with these people and I got to work with them because I had something to say and because whatever I was trying to do interests them. So that gives me hope, and it gives me hope that there is room for what I'm doing in the industry and in the world.
Hmm.
The goal is to really connect with people to the place of wherever I go in the world, they can look at me perform, they can listen to my record and almost feel like I'm from where they are from.
Yeah.
You know, like somebody in India can listen to it and say, "Oh my God, I feel like she's one of us."
Of
Or in
course.
Morocco, or in,
Yeah.
you know, Saudi Arabia, or in, I don't know, Brazil, you know,
Yeah.
anywhere. I look like I could be from anywhere, and that's
You're
really the.
racially ambiguous. Yeah, definitely.
Yes. And that's the sound too, like getting the sound to be that. And I'm influenced by so many different things, you know, like I listen to reggae all day. I listen to
Yeah.
classical music. I listen to soundtracks. You know, everything and anything inspires me, and I always try to pull from all these things into what I do, even if it's the opening of my show, then it's going to be a really dramatic, you
So
know.
there was this one time, I think it was some years ago, you were singing background and performing with, I think it was a Spanish group. I guess you would call them like Spanish pop or R&B. They would call Aventura or something.
Yes, Aventura and
Yeah.
Anthony Santos. They're a bachata group. Yeah, randomly, I was on tour with them as their backup singer. We did Madison Square Garden, sold out shows all over Latin America, all over the world, and that was really an unexpected experience for me, and
Hmm.
also one that led me to discover that I can sing in Spanish even though I don't speak it.
Well,
What?
but that's the thing about your look, though. It's just it's gonna get picked up for so many different things that are like near the Mediterranean, or
Yes,
the south of
yes,
the equator. It's gonna always be like, oh, are you from here? Are you from there? Um,
right.
so
And
that's
I
cool.
love languages. You know,
Yeah.
I have an ear also as a musician, as a singer. I have an ear for languages, and I sing in Arabic, in French, in Spanish, English, Hebrew, Aramaic, which is the biblical language of the Bible.
Yeah, I love it.
But you know, so we're keeping it global.
So now you just did a show not too long ago before the pandemic that was that was amazing. I saw the recording of the entire show and I
Thank
was
you.
so proud of you. You gave me, and I don't want to offend you, but I mean these are great things that I'm trying to say. You gave me essence of a Beyonce, of a Jennifer Lopez. You know what I'm
Thank
saying?
you.
This was only a thing to be like, oh yeah, yeah, I knew she could do that, or I knew that's probably what it would look like, and this is great.
Right.
So speak about that experience a little bit because that was your own show that you pretty much put together. You produced it and all the above. Let us know a little bit about that experience.
Well, it was amazing. It happened right before we all got quarantined, and it was kind of like the last moment that we were able to like go out and be together and spend that time with people that we love. And I put this show together, and I really wanted it to be like a mini, like, okay, you could put this in Madison Square Garden. Let me
Hmm.
show you I can do it. It was kind of
Yeah.
like that type of a thing. And people are always like, why aren't you performing more? Why aren't you? And this was my challenge when your first stage ever, you know, professional stage is a Broadway stage. It's very hard to go into a tiny little club in LA that holds 30 people and put a show together. It just doesn't feel the same. And it doesn't come from an ego place. It's a feeling when you're up there on the stage.
Okay.
So I kind of like put this show together, and the place was big enough to where I could feel, okay, this is a show. Like, here's a stage and I have my musicians, and I could kind of put my ideas to the test, right? It was great, and I was able to pull these amazing musicians that I'm grateful and lucky to have had. And everybody showed out. My friends, my family, people brought other people. I mean, it was just amazing. We sold out.
Yeah, you packed out that place. Yeah.
Yes, and just I remember having a very clear moment. Like, putting the show together by myself was quite difficult.
I'm not impressed. I don't forgive or forget. I don't need money. I got my own. Hey, then you gone, oh baby. I thought you got money, can't buy you love. No way, no how. But now you're only trying to test me. I thought you got money, can't buy you love. You already know money, so.
I didn't have a musical director. You know, my musical director is working on a soundtrack and just a million things. And I'm like, nothing's going to stop me. I'm going to put this show together. And I did it. And the only time I really got to relax and enjoy it was when I was up there.
Yeah.
So I really remember having a moment of just kind of like looking out into the audience and you know, feeling the lights and really feeling like, this is why I fight. This is why I haven't given up. That feeling that you get when you're up there, like you're a beam of energy and a beam of light of whatever it is that you're projecting to the audience.
Yeah.
You know, and there's a responsibility that comes with that, especially now with what we're going through. The world needs music more than ever. The world needs art more than ever. And we're at the forefront of this pandemic. You know, we have our doctors and we have our heroes and everyone that's saving lives. But I think we're kind of like right there behind them because people are really looking to us for hope and for positivity. And just at that moment on stage, I felt really powerful what that vessel is, music, you know, bringing people together. Everybody had this huge smile on their face and just enjoyed the music. And I looked kind of around and looked at my musicians and we just had a blast. We really did. And I was kind of looking
you were giving
forward.
us life. You were giving us life. I mean, it was, I mean, what's the drum that you were playing on? Is that the djembe or is that the
Cajon.
Cajon? Yeah.
Cajon.
So, yeah, that was amazing. And the wind, your hair blowing. And I just thought it was magnificent. What have you been up to during the pandemic?
Well, I think just to be completely honest, I mean, it completely halted everything that I was up to, as I'm sure it did for everybody else.
Of course.
And also the realization that, okay, it halted everything, but I'm not here alone. You know, everybody else is going through that. Kind of like comforted me just knowing this is clearly a global situation that we all have to hang on and just, you know, stick together and move through it. So it did that. And for a minute, I was kind of like, you know, shocked. What am I doing? What am I this? What am I that? And then I realized that I have to, again, there's a calling, you know, and Loop TV reached out to me to do this performance, this virtual performance that collected money for COVID-19, you know, victims. So right away I was like, oh my God, absolutely. And then I was like, what did I get myself into? Like, wait, I don't have my musicians. I don't have a stage. I don't have my fan. Well, I do have it, but I'm like, you know, I don't, that like, the thing that I'm so used that I just didn't have any of that, right?
Yeah, the essence of you. Yeah.
I had nothing. And I was like, great. You have yourself, your cajon, and your computer. What the hell? What are you going to do? And really, it was a great challenge for me, but it was also an epiphany and kind of like a wake-up call to, this is it. This is the real test. What do you do to, connect people and do all those things that you dream of doing on a big, huge scale? Can you do it alone? And can you do it in your house, sitting on a drum with no music? Go. So I did it, and of course it felt weird because I didn't have an audience, but the feeling of being able to do something to give back and to do something in a crisis that would help others, that feeling was the driving force for me. And I actually felt really amazing after that performance, and it just really fulfilled me, and it made me realize that, I mean, my God, what would we do without music? It's just...
I couldn't imagine, yeah. I couldn't imagine.
It's an unbelievable gift to us all, and I'm just blessed that I'm able to, do it in whatever platform, in whatever way. And this is really a time for me. I think that this is a test for all of us. I think that we can use this time to act like the victims of the pandemic and the situation, and kind of sit in the corner and wait for it all to pass. Or we could be in the forefront and revolutionize and reinvent, right? Yeah. And really use this time to propel what we do, and really be super creative in finding ways of getting out there and doing what we do. And I'm actually working on a bunch of stuff right now. I was doing the Staircase series right before all this happened.
Yeah, let's talk about that a little. Yeah.
Yes, my Staircase series started when I was on tour with Philip Hamilton with a show called Voices in where were we? Scotland. Okay. Right, in Edinburgh.
Edinburgh Festival.
Yes.
I mean, the festival.
The festival, the Fringe Festival, music festival.
There you go,
right?
Fringe Festival. Yes.
So we were there, and Anointed S, who's a good friend and an amazing, incredible beatboxer, was there on tour with me, and we would kind of hang out. We would walk from the theater to back to our, where we're staying, and to rehearsal. We would walk together in the streets in Scotland. And one day he was just like, "What? We need to do something. Let's do something." And I remember going up the staircase, and anytime I went up the staircase, I would start singing because the echo was so amazing, and I could really hear myself. And I would kind of do my vocal exercises before the show down there. And when me and Anointed would come back up, I would kind of sing, and he would start beatboxing. And and there was a photographer there a videographer from Paris. And one day we just did it. We just captured it. And it was the one thing that till this day, I can have fans and stages and whatever. Nobody cares. It's everybody's favorite thing, this little staircase video of me and Anointed back in the day. And then that kind of inspired me to start the Staircase series. And it's just collaborating with whatever musician I love or I'm inspired, or a friend, and we just get on the staircase and do what we do. And the idea is, it doesn't matter if you go up or if you go down or if you're stuck right in the middle. Music connects us all and brings us all together. Especially now, we're stuck right now. We're kind of stuck.
Yeah, we are.
So I feel like maybe my staircase series can't go up and down. It's just kind of,
It's just kind of
it's
there.
at one level, right?
One level, yeah.
In order to be in my best creative state,
Hmm.
I need peace and quiet. I just need to like be in my own thing and just get into it, right?
Yeah.
And I find that I like creating, I don't know, I feel like I tend to not want to create, or I tend to be careful not to create so much if I'm in a really low place, right?
Hmm.
Or a really dark place. I kind of write ideas down and whatever, because some of that stuff is amazing for songs, because that's the real stuff that inspires people, because they really connect with it.
Hmm.
But also that's a kind of a dangerous place for an artist, because it can produce some really dark material.
Ooh, tears I feel in my eyes, like the rain out in dark skies. Don't know where else to go to break free. Oh, you can't choose to fall or fly, but your heart will never lie. Look ahead, but this time I won't break down. No, I won't break down. No, I won't break down. No, no, no. Light comes out of the dark, giving hope down my pain. Leave it all behind you, it's hard. Oh, you can't choose to fall or fly, but
I have all my records talk about my life and about my experiences and stuff that I went through, but I'm also very just cautious that I'm still putting out a positive message in my music and in my art. And I never wanted to bring down someone. It might make someone cry because they feel like they connect with the story,
Of
because,
course.
hey, I
Yeah.
went through that, but the message is always, uplifting in the end, and it's always good in the end of the song. I
Yeah.
might have gone through something throughout the song, but then it uplifts you in the end. So I really realized that it's okay to also not create,
Hmm.
and just have that peace and quiet for yourself, and just when it feels right and when it feels authentic, to let whatever needs to come out of you. A lot of time as artists, we push ourselves, especially because social media and everything else going on. We really, we have a lot of pressure to continue constantly to put stuff out there. And
Yeah.
again, to me, that's not authentic. That's not who I am. And I think people connect with me because I am authentic, and because I am,
Of course.
I don't put out, something that's not me out there. So I kind of think we all kind of went through it together, and it's okay. And now slowly we're coming out of it, and new music is coming out,
Yeah.
and new performances, and I'm excited about the future. It's just, I feel like the bad part is behind us,
Yeah.
and now we just gotta stick together and just
We
keep it
do.
moving forward.
We do.
Music and art survived everything through history, so
You're
I
right
really
about that.
believe
Yeah.
it's a huge rock, but we'll get through it and we'll survive it, and
Yeah.
we'll have lots to say at the end of it all.
We'll have
So
something to tell our grandchildren about. What you
for
have anything
sure.
that's coming up soon?
Well, I have some more Staircase series episodes, new ones
Okay.
that I'm working on. I have some new songs that I'm working on. I have a song right now that it's actually like a lot of my songs. Some of my songs I start year back,
Hmm.
and then somehow they find their place again in my life. And funny enough, I was driving around the other day, and an idea that I did years ago was a song called Miracles,
Okay.
right? And the lyrics came up, and it stopped me in my tracks, and I was like, oh my God, this is what we need, right? This is what the world needs. This is what I need to hear
Yeah.
right
Right
now,
now. Yeah. Yeah.
Miracles. And it was a very powerful moment. And I literally just looked up and I said, Thank you. Thank you for music. Thank you, God, for music. Again, it heals, it connects, it's amazing. And
Yeah,
when I also listen to artists that I'm inspired by, it reminds me of that. And that really inspires me also to keep pushing and keep putting my stuff out there. So I'm excited about the future. I think the door is going to open for artists like me more than ever.
yeah. I
Artists
believe
that are
so.
really inspired to connect and to bring about change and to end segregation and separation of any
Yeah,
kind. That's my passion. You ask me what my dream is. I want to tour the world. I want to do that. I want to just make people laugh, make people smile. We're all the same. We're all even.
yeah.
We're all one, no matter what we believe in. And that's really my biggest message that I want to leave behind.
Definitely. Well, it's been such a pleasure just talking to you for this brief time, just to talk about your journey and your story and just things that I was always interested about and to share that with the world. Once again, Noah, you know I love you. And I just want to
I
thank
love
you for
you.
joining me
Thank you.
here on the music series of Upward and Onwards, our meeting at the Crossroads. So we're going to try to listen to some more music that's coming of yours, a little bit of it. Uh, um, and we'll be in touch. All right.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you. All right, sweetie.
Bye.
I'm Noa Neve, and you're watching our meeting at the Crossroads. Thank you so much to Upward and Onward Productions. You're welcome to follow me on social media. My Instagram is at Noa Neve, Facebook, YouTube, anywhere that's available. Type in my name and you'll find me. Stay tuned. Future shows, future music. Thank you guys for being here. Bye.
Well, on behalf of Upward and Onward Productions, we'd like to thank you for hanging out with us for the show, our meeting at the Crossroads Music Series. Now, your attention and time is much appreciated, and we look forward to seeing you next time for more performances and music. Remember, success is only an arm's length away. Stay safe, stay home if you can, and if you can't, keep practicing social distance with a healthy and cautious way of life. Upward and onward, folks.